So, nochmals herzlichen Tag, meine Damen und Herren. Wir waren gerade.
Once again, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have already started our online broadcast, but unfortunately we had some technical problems, so we had to have a small break. Here we are in Düsseldorf, and 30 minutes before our online broadcast, there was a shutdown, and that was already a bad sign. Nevertheless, we tackled all the technical problems and we are back on track. Let me make some welcome remarks at the beginning because I don't know at what moment the broadcast stopped. Today we are going to speak about German energy and about business opportunities in the German energy. It's an event organized by the Russian-German Chamber of Commerce, the Russian-German Competence Forum in Düsseldorf, and this event is organized within the framework of the International Gas Forum. My name is Aaron Rushka, and I'm the head of the German-Russian Center for Economic Cooperation at ICC Düsseldorf. I'm always ready to answer your questions regarding the enter of the German market or the entrance to the Russian market. Our center supports the German companies when they're willing to enter the Russian market, and also Russian companies when they're willing to enter the German market. We help develop business contacts and we consult all the shareholders. And as for our program today, we have 4 presentations. The topics are different. We are going to start with a presentation by Heiko Staubitz, who is going to speak about energy revolution or energy transition, new energy policy in Germany, namely about business opportunities for green hydrogen. Heiko Staubitz is a senior manager. He's working at the Department for Energy Building and Environmental Technologies at Germany Trade and Invest. It's an agency which supports import and export. The second speaker will be Robert Stieler, who is going to speak about mechanical engineering as a generator of climate protection solutions. He's an advisor and he is an expert of public relations at the German Mechanical Engineering Industry Association, and he specializes in foreign climate and energy. The third speaker, Till Oberrick Fries, the head of the Department of Traditional and Renewable Energy at German-Russian Chamber of Commerce, who is going to speak about Russian-German cooperation in practical terms in energy sector. And the fourth speaker will be Vladimir Belousov from Power Engineering Equipment Department at Russian Export Center, and he's going to speak about measures of support for Russian companies willing to enter the international markets. He's going to speak about Russian companies which can receive support by the center. You can ask your questions in 3 languages. And I wanted to start with listing the main challenges which the energy of Germany is facing currently. First of all, it's of course the new energy policy or energy transition to the renewable sources, energy from the traditional sources energy. First is coal phase out, and that led to grid expansion. That led to energy efficiency, energy saving, and many more. First and foremost, the first trend we are going to see in the nearest future is that solar energy will be used more and more because production costs will decrease, and because the manufacturing of PV panels is profitable in Germany. As an example, I can tell you about one company from Saxony. Solar World is the name of the company, and it's going to open a production facility here in Germany However, in the past, it was in Asia, but transportation costs grow, and costs for skilled personnel in Asia also grow. That's why it makes sense to manufacture solar panels in Germany. And now I give the floor to Mr. Staubitz, who is going to speak about business opportunities and new energy policy in Germany. He is going to speak about hydrogen. The floor is yours. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Roschke. Thank you for your introduction remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. What is the relation between new energy policy, energy transition, and business opportunities for green hydrogen? This is the question I wanted to ask you, and before I answer it, I wanted to introduce our agency to you. Our agency is called Germany Trade and Invest. We are a state agency which stimulates international trade and investment in Germany. We are a company which is subordinate to the Federal Ministry of Economy and Energy. Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to take part in this event. As I have already told you, we are an agency which supports international trade and attracts foreign investment to Germany. And here I'm going to speak about investment to distribution grids, investment to hydrogen and new sources of energy. To better understand the relation between hydrogen and energy transition, we have to go back to the beginning of the reform, which started in the year 2000, when new feed-in tariffs were introduced. Here is the situation in 2018. The situation has changed dramatically. You can see here the number of sources for renewable energy, biomass, PV, wind energy. These are all sources of energy located in energy, and you can see their capacity. So here you can see that the number of renewable sources has grown really much in the last 20 years. Currently, Germany generates 42% of its energy from renewable sources. Our target is 80% by 2050. The main goal is that we want to reduce CO2 emissions. And here you can see the changes of energy split in Germany. Look, here is the situation in 1998, and renewable sources accounted only for 5%. Now the share of renewable sources has grown completely. 7% accounts only for solar panels, plus we use a lot of wind energy. The share of fossil fuels decreased dramatically. The amount of natural gas consumption has grown from 9 to 15%. More than 600 terawatt an hour is a consumption of Germany. We export 40 terawatt an hour and to neighboring countries. And how is energy balance going to look like in the future? Let's talk about Germany and let's have a look at this map. These red peaks are places where large energy generation plants are located, where a lot of energy is generated. Here are, for example, Lausitz power station. Here in the south, there's a lot of industry. And when we phase out coal, in the south of Germany, we have energy deficiency. However, in the north, we have a lot of wind parks, wind energy generation plants, and there we have a profit of energy. So in order to make the energy distribution more balanced, we have to build better grids. In addition to that, it is necessary to develop technologies for energy saving. We have to create a method of preserving the energy, and hydrogen can play an important role. Let us have a look at energy grids. Here they are. We are building electricity grids. There is a project for the expansion of electricity grids in Germany, and it costs about 60 billion euro. The grids will go up to the points where the coal plants used to be located, because from there we have already a well-developed system of energy distribution. I already told you that it's important to save energy. Why is it important? Because in Germany, sometimes there is disbalance of the system. In 2017 and 18, there was about 5 terawatt an hour of energy which was spent in vain because sources of renewable energy were simply switched off. And that is the energy which could be used for different purposes. Well, for example, to transform power into fuel, to heat, or to correct the consumption volume, to compensate, for example. To take into account the peaks of energy production. What are the peaks? Let me tell you about that. In 2013, Audi company started to operate a power-to-gas plant. It's an e-gas plant. Here we have hydrogen. Hydrogen is mixed with CO2, and thanks to electricity generated from renewable sources, we create natural gas, which you can easily put into pipes, or you can use this natural gas to fuel cars, because Audi manufactures cars which use natural gas for as a fuel. Here is another example where you can preserve hydrogen. You can produce hydrogen out of power, and then you can use this hydrogen to charge trucks which use this kind of fuel, or you can add hydrogen to the pipelines used for natural gas. In natural gas, you can have about 10% of hydrogen, so you can add this hydrogen to the pipes with natural gas, and that is the way to save energy by transforming power to gas. These are surpluses of energy from renewable sources in Germany, and you can actually save this energy. Shell company is also building a new unit next to already existing refinery. It's a refinery which refines oil, and it transforms oil into fuel. And next to it, there will be a unit which will produce green hydrogen. Thus, there are opportunities to create electrolysis units next to refineries, next to chemical plants. glass manufacturing plants, steel manufacturing plants. Applications can be different. Here you can see requirements and the price for hydrogen production. In case of glass industry, it costs more than in case of refinery, but in case of the steel industry, you can also find ways to use hydrogen. All in all, hydrogen costs about 10 euro per kilo in Germany. Future market. If you take rail transport, 40% of lines are not electrified. There is a potential to use hydrogen in cars, in trucks, and you can also use it in heating market. Capacities are also great to introduce hydrogen there. So what are we doing? We use hydrogen in different companies in different sectors. We have to expand charging points for cars. We need programs of support, and there is an initiative which supports investment in the sphere of green hydrogen, and there is another initiative or strategy which is called a real labor. So it's like a real laboratory. It's like a sandbox where new projects with hydrogen can be developed and analyzed. As I told you, that is the way to stimulate the use of hydrogen. An important factor here is the price of hydrogen. And here on the slide, I wanted to show you the price for electricity. In 2020, it's about 18 cents for kilowatt. That is the price for industrial electricity. And private persons, private consumers have an opportunity to buy electricity cheaper. In blue, you can see the price for transportation and production of electricity. In dark gray, you can see taxes and levies that you have to pay to the country. And separately, there is an additional duty which the companies have to pay for the fact that they use wind or solar energy, and that is a compensation. It's about 7%. And 3 or 4 cents for 1 kilowatt an hour are added. So the public authorities try to make sure that the suppliers of energy from renewable sources have a better situation. And here you can see Germany's national hydrogen strategy. ThyssenKrupp, Siemens, and other producers of electrolysis in Germany. That national strategy was developed, and that is a national strategy for 5 gigawatt, which should be commissioned until 2025. It's about 7 billion investment. Which should come from Germany, and 2 billion coming from international sources. For now, this sector is not profitable, so we need investment from the authorities to develop it. Currently, we are also looking for companies around the world which can offer innovative products, and we are interested in supporting them if they're willing to enter the German market. There is an association which can help companies locally. Why do we need hydrogen for energy transition? Why so? Because in the long term, view, we need to have opportunities to save energy, to accumulate energy. There are various application forms like heating, for example, cars, trucks, industry, and we need hydrogen as a unifying factor. Our organization is ready to offer support. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. You can contact me directly through Chambers of Commerce, or you can contact our partners. We can help you find place for manufacturing facility, measures of support locally. Here you can see my contacts. Please contact me anytime. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Staubitz. There are some questions. These are the questions which are related to your presentation and some questions related to other topics. But please don't be shy, ask your questions. It's my request to all the participants. Mr. Stabis, the question to you. Where Russian companies or Russian investors can find support if they are willing to enter the German market. If you had to prioritize in the context of energy transition, in what sectors there are more problems, what problems are more relevant? So in what spheres companies from Russia can help you? Well, first, expansion of electric grids, expansion of distribution grids. In this regard, we cooperate a lot with Russian companies which can offer corresponding solutions. For example, control over electricity grids when we can track the situation. Then expansion of electricity grids, distribution grids, as I told you, Russian companies can participate in the bidding operations in Germany. Everything related to the expansion of grids is an important topic for Germany. Second important sphere is energy saving. Chinese companies, Japanese companies, South Korean companies are already active in this sector. In car manufacturing, we need batteries for electric cars. That is an important topic too. Another sector is spare parts for hydrogen technologies. There are some units, items or spare parts like membranes for hydrogen systems which can be supplied by foreign companies. I know that in Russia there are technologies for hydrogen systems and we are ready to offer corresponding support. In addition to that, we actively cooperate with R&D centers. So science and R&D is another important factor. One more question about hydrogen. In Düsseldorf, there are Russian companies which contacted us and asked us in what sphere, in what niche they can be active in Germany. And their question is like that, hydrogen in Germany, don't you think that it's just a small brick in energy transition? Don't you think that the market of Germany is too small for international companies to have chances in Germany? Well, we have a new national strategy for the use of hydrogen until the 2035 gigawatt is the capacity which should be produced with the help of hydrogen. 5 gigawatt is quite a lot to my mind. It's quite a big amount of energy which can attract investors from abroad. So from my point of view, it makes sense to invest. I repeat once again, 5 gigawatt till 2030 and additional 5 gigawatt till 2035. So we focus on this sphere. We are interested in using this technology to use hydrogen more, to use international technologies for hydrogen systems. We cannot produce everything we need here in Germany. That's why international cooperation is an important topic. I think that all the uh, things that I have listed are important. I repeat once again, 5 gigawatt is quite a lot. It's quite a lot. And industry is really interested in having such technologies. ThyssenKrupp, Siemens already announced their plans on expansion of such technologies, on better use of technologies based on hydrogen. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stabis, for your presentation and for answering the questions. Now let's move to the next speaker. His name is Robert Stiller, and he is from the German Mechanical Engineering Industry Association. He is going to speak about mechanical engineering, about solutions to protect the climate. Thank you. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. I wanted to add a few words to the previous speaker, Mr. Stabitz. Over the last 3 years, we managed to use electrolysis technologies more, but for the future we have to produce 5 gigawatt. So it's a lot. Let me tell you a few words about the organization I represent. There are more than 2,000 participants of our organization. We create more than 1 million jobs. We are focused on export. We make research and survey. One of them was to understand how mechanical engineering can, on the one hand, produce products with lower impact on environment, and how we can give driving force to the development of sectors where we have less impact on the environment. So we have to analyze the footprint of our technologies and what efforts can be made in order to decrease CO2 emissions to the atmosphere. Let us have a look at this page. 51 gigatons of greenhouse gases are emitted, but the volumes are not known, so to say, completely. We don't know their sources. There are about 16 gigatons which come from unknown spheres, so we don't really know where they are generated. There are emissions coming from energy generation. There are some emissions coming from maintenance of buildings and so on. We have had a look at mechanical engineering globally, and here 0.10 gigaton is the level of emissions in the sphere of mechanical engineering. But we can also have an impact on technologies which emit dangerous substances to the air by changing them. And these technologies are used in various sectors of industry. Let us have a look at this slide, for example. We understand that there are different opportunities to catch CO2 emissions, for example. Planes also emit dangerous substances, so we have to think on how to decrease these emissions. We have to think about technologies which help us use renewable sources of energy more. To decrease fossil fuels, we have to change consumers' habits. And for now, we wanted to focus on mechanical engineering. If you take only mechanical engineering, you can see that you can decrease emissions thanks to modern technologies. There are other things that we haven't analyzed so far. For example, strategy for the use of hydrogen is one of priorities in Germany, but we haven't analyzed it within the framework of this presentation. Methane, methanol, biofuel can be also used, not only hydrogen. And the last category for a long-term perspective is a category which is called CCU. CCU, it's a technology which helps to use and catch CO2 emissions. Thanks to the efforts taken in mechanical engineering, we can decrease emissions by 30 gigaton. You know that there is an environmental agreement according to which we have to decrease the global temperature by 2%. And technologies I have listed to you can help us achieve this target. More than 10 billion euro account for new measures. We contacted experts from different areas and tried to classify emission decrease in different industries and technologies. And then we tried to find technologies of the future which will help us decrease emissions to the maximum extent. Measures can be different. They can be mechanic measures, electric measures, energy saving measures. All of them in the future help us decrease CO2 emissions, and we have calculated potential of such measures taken in each industry. Please have a look at this table. Technologies can be different, as I have already told you, and during my presentation I will cover some of technologies better. Let us go back to the potential of the market for mechanical engineering. The biggest driver for the development of market is generation of energy from renewable sources. CCU technologies for CO2 catching and utilization, plus new types of fuel made of waste, for example, and so on. Altogether, it gives us 10 million euro. Account for 333 billion per year, or 15% of the whole mechanic engineering market. And now we are calculating not only German mechanic engineering, but the global mechanic engineering. Let me give you 4 examples. I promised to show you some examples, and I will cover them really briefly. We already talked about transportation. Another sector is production of fuel cells. Not only fuel cells themselves, but also manufacturing equipment for fuel cells, production of solar panels and recycling of batteries, improvement of energy efficiency and mechanic efficiency of equipment. Hydrogen can be used in different sectors. The previous speaker already told us about it. It allows you to save energy, but hydrogen can also be used in production flows. It can be, for example, pumped to the pipes. It can be used for the production of heat. It can be used for the production of steel. Within the framework of our survey, we talked to experts and we asked them, where do you think hydrogen can be used? And one of the answers was that hydrogen can be used as a fuel for planes, for ships, for trucks. And experts also told us that hydrogen can be used for trucks and cars in the form of fuel cells. Once again, when we speak about fuel cells, we speak not only about fuel cells themselves, but also about production lines. Currently, there is a lot of manual work in the production of fuel cells. There is a huge potential for automation. In the future, production costs can be decreased thanks to that. And then technology will be more attractive from the economic point of view. We are talking about really important production flows and tolerances are really small. In some cases, we are speaking about micro millimeters. Thanks to the automation, you can stick to the required tolerances. As far as the circular economy is concerned, there are a lot of opportunities to develop technologies there. The same accounts for batteries. Please have a look at the slide. We have to, on the one hand, improve consumption of energy sources. We have to use new technologies for the production of fuel cells. And there's quite a lot of potential to improve energy efficiency there. We have to improve the whole infrastructure for charging vehicles. And as far as recycling is concerned, there is a burning issue of battery recycling. And the last aspect I wanted to cover, it's what mechanic engineering associations focus on. We always try to make our units and our machines more efficient from the point of view of energy consumption and mechanic parameters. There's a lot of potential to decrease emissions of greenhouses. Here it's about gigatons. Here I'm speaking about more efficient engines, for example, or lower consumption of energy by the units. National program on improvement of energy efficiency is adopted in Germany. The goals are quite ambitious and should be achieved till 2050. So mechanic engineering technologies should be improved too in order to achieve this target. In Germany, we managed to become quite successful already, but we have to work more. That was all I wanted to tell you for today. Thank you, and I'm really, really excited about hearing the next presentations. Thank you, Robert Stiller. Thank you for your um, speech, and thank you for showing new potential of mechanical engineering technologies. You said that in Germany we have a lot of potential for German mechanic engineers. Do you think there are any niches where German companies can use foreign know-how, foreign technologies? And if yes, then what segments are we talking about? I think that the number of technologies now is so big that, of course, know-how come from foreign countries and we use them. We shouldn't speak about national mechanic engineering market only. It's better to speak about global mechanic engineering market, especially when we talk about infrastructure, when we talk about the improvement of our infrastructure, because in the past we used fossil fuels. Now we use much more energy, renewable energy sources, and we have to share our experience. We have to use experience of countries which are doing the same, which use hydrogen. The most important thing is that we have to think about technologies which are great for the future. We should think not only about the decrease of CO2 emissions, but of better use of resources. Like you can create hydrogen of water, but what about countries which do not have enough water or which have salt water? If it's a country located on the shore or the sea, for example, then they have to use technologies which desalinize water. We are all members of circular economy, so we have to think in an integrated way. I can name you millions of technologies where foreign companies or foreign manufacturers of technologies can be highly competitive. Many technologies are unique. Well, that's true. That's true. Any mechanic engineer creates machines according to the requirements of specific users. If I see that there is a company which can use output heat, then I can create a machine for that. It's always a question about negotiations, and it's always about your ability to identify hidden potential and hidden requirements. Same accounts for foreign companies. If there is a company abroad which produces an element, a unique element which is needed in the system, then of course it's a great potential for development and cooperation. I think that currently all the conferences speak about pandemic and COVID-19. As a representative of German mechanical engineering, can you tell me what is the situation like in mechanic engineering? What is the impact of COVID-19 on mechanic engineering? What about energy mechanic engineering? Has it suffered because of COVID-19? Or what are the challenges for the future? Well, yes, on Monday, we announced that the number of unemployed people grew. Companies had to fire quite a lot of people, unfortunately. I'm working in the Committee for Energy Policy, and I asked the same question to the representatives of the companies. Many members of the German Mechanical Engineering Industry Association said that they had to stop their production, and for them it was an opportunity to think about changing their portfolio of products, about changing their approach to work. Pandemics perhaps will be a driving force and not a reason to stop. I hope so. Nevertheless, we have some orders and we have to fulfill them, but in some cases we deliver to a later date because of that break. For now, it's quite hard to assess the impact of pandemics, and different sectors suffer differently. Well, we have 38 different associations only within the sphere of mechanical engineering, and each sector has an impact on other sectors, so it's hard to answer your question. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And I give the floor to Mr. Uberik Fries, who is from the German Chamber of Commerce. And he is going to speak about practical terms of Russian-German cooperation. What are the sectors where partnership is already ongoing? Mr. Uberik Fries, we give the floor to you, and we are waiting for your presentation. Mr. Roshka, thank you. Thank you for giving me the floor, and thank you for your introduction remarks, Mr. Roshka. It's really a pleasure for me to speak to you today. And you were right to say that I represent the Chamber of Commerce. My name is Till Uberik Friese. I'm the head of the Department of Traditional and Renewable Energy. In my presentation, I would like to show you some instrument tools and platforms which we offer to strengthen cooperation between Russia and Germany in the sector of energy. I wanted to speak about three main topics. I'm going to speak about our committee on energy and its activity. It's our initiative which we started in Russia. I'm also going to speak about localization in energy sector, and I'm going to speak about partnership in hydrogen. Let us start with a slide which is called Who We Are. What is Russian-German Chamber of Commerce? We have three main functions. We are official representative office of the German economy in Russia. We are an organization with 900 member companies. These are companies from Russia, Germany, and other international companies. We are an interaction point between companies, authorities, companies of different countries. We advocate for bilateral cooperation. We offer services such as support of international activity, support of German companies in Russia, and support of Russian companies in Germany. You can always feel free to contact us if you need an advice. We have about 100 employees in Moscow and St. Petersburg. Our two main offices are located in Moscow and St. Petersburg in Russia. We work within the framework of 24 committees and working groups in key areas: digitalization, localization, agriculture, taxes, customs, and energy. So there is a committee on energy and energy market, which I am the head of, and which I wanted to talk to you about today. We organize about 300 events per year, conferences, forums, networking platforms, where all the participants have an opportunity to ask questions, to share experience, and to interact. We also have social projects for the members of our association. The Russian German Chamber of Commerce is a member of international network. Our organization is 125 years old, and we are all around the world. As you can see it on the map, you can find our office in any corner of the world. If you want to find a partner from another country, you can always contact us. First of all, I wanted to tell you about our Energy Committee. The Energy Committee was established this year in St. Petersburg. The idea of Energy Committee and the objective of it is to bring together the players of energy market together and to create an opportunity for practical experience sharing. We have 4 open sessions per year. During the pandemics, we had to organize the majority of sessions and conferences online. Our sessions became, so to say, more open, even for companies which are not members of the Russian-German Chamber of Commerce. If you want to contribute to the work of our committee, you can always be engaged in our sessions. We have about 100 committee members. These are official members. And the chairman of the committee is Christoph Seeholzer, who is a representative of Linde Severstal company. The committee works under the leadership of Mr. Seeholzer. What are we doing? Our activities are listed on the slide. We share our experience, we share our opinion about the latest trends. We invite the representatives of public authorities to have dialogue with the government. We invite people from the associations of different sectors of industry. For example, there is an association of wind energy of Russia, and we stay in touch with this association. This year, we already had a session about energy cluster in St. Petersburg. It was an online conference where the main shareholders of this market participated. We spoke a lot about localization. The representative of the public authority, members of the Russian-German Chamber of Commerce participated in that conference, and it was highly interesting to listen to their presentations. We also created a document which is called German-Russian Technology Partnership for hydrogen. It's some kind of a strategy which I'm going to speak more about at the end of my presentation. In September, there will be one more working session dedicated to hydrogen economy in Russia. We are going to speak about perspectives for international cooperation. We want to find out how hydrogen economy is built in Russia currently, what projects already exist in the market, what opportunities for cooperation there are there. And in October, there will be one more event. It's a roundtable, a German-Russian technology partnership for modern energy sector. It's a roundtable discussion which will be organized within the framework of St. Petersburg International Gas Forum. It's not the first year that we act as partners of St. Petersburg International Gas Forum, and we always happy to participate. Energy Export Initiative, and that is another project I wanted to talk to you about in the sphere of renewable energies. It's a project offered by the Federal Agency of Germany, the Ministry of Economy and energy. It's a project which supports companies, and namely small and medium enterprises of Germany, which can offer important technologies for energy sector. This initiative supports, first of all, companies from the energy sector in the areas of renewable energy, energy efficiency, intelligent grids, storage technologies, and development of foreign markets. As a International Chamber of Commerce, we are a partner of this initiative, and we are responsible for the implementation of Energy Expert Initiative in Russia. We focus on renewable energy. That is what we focus on, and we organize fact-finding missions to Germany. Representatives of Russian energy companies have an opportunity to participate in missions to Germany. You can become a member of a delegation and go to Germany in order to visit particular production facilities or specific sites. And usually such trips are all about technologies where Germany is already well established and where Germany can share experience with us. For example, Germany uses a lot of renewable sources of energy, so Germany can share information about renewable energy technologies. I think that such a kind of exchange is highly interested for Russian partners. Another project I wanted to talk to you about is Business Mission to Russia. That is a project organized for the representatives of small and medium-sized enterprises based in Germany. So they travel to Russia to find out more about business opportunities in Russia. And the third point I wanted to talk to you about is surveys, which we organize to analyze energy sectors of Russia in Germany. For example, we make publications, and we made a market analysis of wind power in Russia, for example. And this publication was highly interested for our German colleagues. And another brochure is called Online Business Mission: Wind Power in Russia. We plan activities within the framework of which German companies will travel to Russia to penetrate deeper into the context of Russian business. I wanted to talk to you about Russian-German hydrogen partnership. We are going to develop hydrogen partnership with Russia. Here is our strategy. As you can see it on the slide. Traditionally, we organize a conference of Russian-German Chamber of Commerce, international companies and representatives of public authorities. And there was already an event when German authorities participated and they managed to come to an agreement to cooperate better in the sphere of hydrogen partnership. In summer, the national hydrogen strategy was adopted in Germany, and we gave our feedback to that strategy. We managed to adopt it too, and now we act accordingly. It's really important to start with investment to technologies. It's really important to decrease CO2 emissions to the atmosphere. It's really important to make sure that the hydrogen production is energy efficient and profitable from the economic point of view. Our target for 2030 is to use blue and climate neutral hydrogen as a transitional technology in the medium term to switch to green hydrogen from renewable energies. And I hope that green hydrogen will be produced in Russia, and then it can be exported to the markets of the European Union. The forecast of Germany is so that from 90 to 110 terawatt an hour is the capacity which can be produced in Germany. So we have to develop our production facilities to be able to produce 5 gigawatt of energy from renewable sources from hydrogen by 2030. There is a demand to produce additional 80 terawatt an hour, and that is an additional demand which we can meet if we develop hydrogen technologies. So there is a plan to create a pilot project in the sphere of Russian-German hydrogen partnership to be able to export hydrogen from Russia to Germany. These are our midterm and long-term plans for hydrogen partnership. We would like to establish contacts with the representatives of hydrogen sector in Russia because Russian economy can also offer some initiatives, and we can bring these initiatives to the government of Germany. We want to make sure that Russian companies can participate in the bidding activities in Germany. There are subsidies in the amount of about 2 billion euro to improve the production of hydrogen and to improve the use of hydrogen. That's why we represent the Ministry of Energy and Economy of Germany. Next events are the following. I would like to invite you to our online conference on wind power. It will be organized on the 25th of August. And I would also like to invite you to our committee session on hydrogen economy in Russia. It will be organized on September 15. Here you can see my contacts. If you have any questions, I will be always happy to answer them. Please feel free to contact me. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Uberik Fries, for your presentation. Finca Complex asks you a question. Please tell me, are there any plans on technological cooperation between Russia and Germany in the sector of clean tech, industrial treatment of air? Are there any projects where Russian companies can participate? Yes, I understand the question, and I mentioned it, but really briefly in my presentation. We have an initiative on green technologies. Waste recycling, for example. Industrial waste and industrial emissions can be treated, and that is an initiative. I can show you, or I can send you contacts of the companies which deal with that, and I will be really happy to share the contacts with you. Thank you. Another question is more technological or technical. If you cannot answer it right away, it's perfectly fine. Well, tell me if yes, then yes. The question is like that. How can we join to the work of committee sessions and roundtable discussions. We are a Russian company. And technical question is, how do you assess the potential of graphene batteries? Here are the events where you can participate. These are online conferences or online sessions, two events where you can easily join us. The registration for the next event will be open in the nearest future on our website. If you are willing to make a presentation, to speak about something, please contact me and we'll do that. As far as the second question is concerned, well, graphene batteries. It's a technical question and I'm not ready to answer it right away. I'm not working on the technical side, but in any case, technologies for energy saving are super important for the future energy transition and for the future energy policy of Germany. It's a good question to Mr. Stiller. If you want to give an answer, get an answer to the technical question, you can easily contact Robert Stiller because he works on the technical side. One of the sectors where Russia and Germany can be partners is the Nord Stream 2. There are a lot of discussions going on around them. They're speaking about new sanctions because of that. What do you think about it? Do you think that Nord Stream 2 will be built completely, or this Russian-German initiative will be simply a disaster? Well, we hope that we will find an opportunity to build this pipeline completely. From the very beginning, we advocated for the construction. We spoke about future opportunities of the project, and it's an important element of energy balance of Germany, because Germany wants to phase out coal, and the first thing that you can use instead of coal is gas. It's a good transition technology. We also want to phase out nuclear power, and natural gas can help us in this regard too. So we are sure about the future of this project. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation and thank you for answering the question, Mr. Uberg-Fries. We spoke about the German energy, and now it's time to move to Russia. We already started to speak about joint Russian-German projects, and now let's talk about projects in Russia. I give the floor to Vladimir Belousov from Russian Export Center. How do you support Russian exporters in their plans and initiatives when they are willing to enter German market or international markets? Vladimir, the floor is yours, please. Dear colleagues, hello. My name is Vladimir, and I'm the representative of a Russian export center. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the previous speakers because their presentations were highly interesting and exciting. Our center follows the international trends and we are always interested to see how the energy sector changes in Germany, because Germany has always been in the frontier of creating new technologies and using renewable sources of energy. We also heard that Germany is interested in cooperation with Russian companies which can produce equipment or machines for electric grids, distribution grids, hydrogen energy. We are willing to actively participate in this dialogue. From our side, we would like to tell you that Russian Expert Center is ready to offer support with the various tools and instruments. There are different measures of support, financial and non-financial measures of support. And I will tell you more about measures of support for exporting companies, because there are some projects which can be implemented by Russian companies, Russian mechanic engineers in the energy sector of Germany and other countries. Now I want to tell you more about our center and measures of support which we offer for the Russian exporting companies. The measures of support are the same for different industries, no matter what kind of exporting activities we are talking about. Today we will speak about Russian Export Center, about our offices abroad. We'll speak about financial measures of support. We'll speak about insurance and credit guarantees. We will speak about advisory and advices in exporting production facilities in Russia. We'll speak about subsidies, bank subsidies, and direct non-financial subsidies as measures of support offered for exporting companies as compensation for expenses in export activity and export projects. And I wanted to talk to you about a service for recycling in customs zone. Russian Export Center is a Russian center which gives measures of support for Russian companies. There is also the first insurance agency in Russia. I would like to tell you today about the structure of our center. The shareholder of the Russian Export Center is WebRF, which is external economic bank of Russia. Our structure includes an insurance company which insures export credits from commercial and political risks. It also includes Rosexim Bank, which forms the basis of financial support for exporting companies by credit guarantees to support export projects. Key indicators are as following. In 2019, the overall amount of export support was more than 19 billion US dollars. The basis of that support is related to XR. XR supported more than 400 exporters, and the amount of supported export was more than 18 billion US dollars. That is the amount of credit guarantees. And Rosexim Bank provided financial support and guarantees in the amount of 758 million US dollars. Speaking about support of energy and oil and gas mechanical engineering, a Russian Export Center traditionally supports exporting companies, and the amount here is about 400 or 500 million US dollars. I wanted to tell you that the biggest export is related to EPC contracts on modernization and construction of new energy sites and various sites for metal industry and energy industry. Now I wanted to tell you about our presence points abroad. Russian Export Center has 11 offices abroad. First of all, in CIS countries, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Azerbaijan. There are also offices in Asian countries, Turkey, in India, Vietnam. There's a representative office in China too. And I wanted to tell you that we have a representative office in Germany. Today, the head of Russian Export Center in Germany is Mr. Desenko, who is a person with vast professional experience. He used to work a lot in the sphere of energy of Germany and Austria, and he helps promote Russian export to the market of Germany. The objective of our offices abroad is to help Russian exporting companies to build contacts with business community and to build relations with financial institutions locally. We also actively interact with representative offices of banks of Russia, chambers of commerce of Russia abroad. All of that makes a large network of presence abroad. There are 57 representatives of Russian Federation abroad, and they are our partners. There's also a program within the framework of which you can contact export trade advisors. Currently, there are 120 advisors abroad which can help you find buyers abroad. These are people who know market locally and who have experience in the sector. They work within the framework of agreements, contracts, and accreditations, and that is the way to find new channels to export Russian products abroad. There are also partnership programs. We are members of partnership programs, including Russian-German Chamber of Commerce. Together with this organization, we think about various synergy opportunities and how Russia and Germany can complement each other in the sector of technologies. We think about the opportunities of bringing German companies to Russia, bringing Russian companies to Germany. We also develop our relations with financial institutions. We stay in touch with the international banks. For example, we actively cooperate with the African Export Import Bank and we are minority shareholder of that bank. Last year, we already organized a conference on Russian-African partnership. We check an opportunities to develop energy projects in Africa. For example, in Nigeria, we think about an opportunity to improve metal manufacturing complexes. So we check our cooperative opportunities in Zimbabwe, where we can offer technologies for energy generation for mining companies. As far as non-financial products are concerned, I wanted to tell you briefly about them. You can divide them into four categories. Market research and Russian Export Center analyzes markets of different countries, makes research about international trade. You can download such publications for free if you register at our website. These publications can be useful and because they offer you analysis of the market, including all the barriers you can face when you enter the Russian market. Russian Export Center helps with international patents. It provides consultations regarding the international certifications and how to make sure that Russian products comply with the requirements of international markets. We also make consultations and give advice about logistics. Another sphere is promotion at the international markets. We already spoke about it because one of the instruments of international promotion is cooperation with business partners, business circles, industrial associations. In this regard, we cooperate with the Russian-German Chamber of Commerce. In addition to that, we support our partners in finding contacts locally. We organize special targets, events, and business missions. We have organized such events in online mode recently because of COVID-19 pandemics, just like today's event. That is all I wanted to tell you about promotion at international markets. In addition to that, we offer support in organization of customs activity for exporting companies. We offer support to make sure that you comply with the requirements of customs and tax legislation. We are a single platform where you can find different measures of support. We invite highly competitive companies and we can always offer support. Then financial products of Russian Export Center. In this regard, I wanted to start with insurance instruments. Insurance instruments are provided by XR. Insurance is used to cover political risks, for example, and political risks are related to the changes of legislations and actions of the government, which make it difficult for the companies to execute the contracts. It also is related to force majeure circumstances, such as war, for example, and so on. As for the main parameters of insurance is concerned, we cover up to 90% of commercial risks and up to 95% of political risks. It's always important to underline that XR insurance has high quality because it has guarantees by the Ministry of Finance of Russia. So Russian banks actively provide insurances within the framework of XR because it helps them structurize their reserves and correct and optimize the credit interest rate. XR stimulates the attraction of Russian banks to international deals. We also cover local risks in Russia if we provide insurance for the credits for companies which focus on export. Yamal refinery, Amur refinery, for example, these are companies which develop in Russia, but the products are made for export purposes. In this regard, we actively cooperate with the German credit agency, Julian Hermes, which also provides insurances against the risks for the German companies and for the companies which produce equipment. As for the banks, we provide insurances for foreign buyers. We provide insurances for the credits of foreign banks if it is within the framework of inner bank financing. And these products are really demanded in energy sector. Why? Because energy products are always projects where you have a lot of investment and you need long-term investment. So insurances are needed. And I think that reinsurances are key measures of support for the implementation of such projects. We also cooperate with international insurance companies like Julian Hermes. As I told you, we can reinsure risks of other companies, or we can give the risks to other insurance companies so that they can give insurances against them. We also can provide insurance for loans. For example, for account receivables, we can always support such companies. I'm sure that exporting companies are interested in bringing products abroad, and I'm sure that there are foreign companies which are willing to come to Russia. So we are ready to provide insurance for account receivables. Excuse me, I have a request. I see that you have quite a lot of slides, but you have only 5 minutes left. I just wanted to give you a sign that you have only 5 minutes till the end of your presentation. Okay, I will continue. These are our insurance products. We also provide insurance against political risks, as I told you. Rosexim Bank offers loan guarantees. We provide such guarantees before export is organized so for the production of products before they are exported. We also provide post-export. We also provide insurances in post-export mode. For buyers, we make direct loans. We can provide such loans for them. We can also give loans to foreign banks. And as I told you, we stay in touch with foreign banks. And in some cases, it is easier for us to work like that and to take risks. We finance export activity in the sector of high tech, and there is a decree of Russia, of the government of Russia, which allows you to subsidize such products where the interest rate is lower than a commercial one. As far as our services are concerned, I just wanted to remind you that we offer advice and we can provide consultations for companies which are willing to organize export-oriented manufacturing facilities in Russia. We make research, we give all the necessary advice, we help prepare the project, we prepare financial model, we structurize the deal. We help attract financing. In some cases, it can be financing from our bank, and we can also attract financing from other commercial banks. Or even foreign commercial banks. The idea is that we want to help you find the best financial instruments with Russian and international sources. There are some examples. I don't have time to list them all, but there are projects where we actively cooperate with our German counterparts. And subsidized measures of support, I don't want to speak a lot about it. I just wanted to let you know that we have non-financial subsidies, direct subsidies for companies, subsidies to compensate expenses for the production, subsidies for compensate for expenses related to the participation in fairs and conferences, subsidies to receive patents and certificates of the products. Because if you have certificates, it makes sure that you comply with the requirements of the international markets. As far as financial subsidies are concerned, then we have subsidies in the form of loans from Rosexim Bank. As I already told you about it, it is organized according to the decree of the government of Russia number 566. And there's also subsidies of the interest rates from commercial banks. I want to tell you more about financial subsidies, and there were changes introduced to the decree number 191. On this Friday, we are going to have an online conference where we are going to talk about mechanisms, how you can attract subsidized financement for Russian companies. I don't want to speak about it now because you can hear more about it on Friday. I will send you a link and you can easily use this link to participate in the conference. So I will share this link with the representatives of the Russian-German Chamber of Commerce, and my colleagues will send this link to all the interested shareholders. Transportation subsidies. It's a non-financial subsidy, so we can compensate up to 80% of actual cost, but no more than 11% of the cost of the product. The receivers can be producers of the products, affiliated parties, and authorized parties which export products abroad. The aim of subsidies is to decrease expenditures of companies for transportation. Currently, we are already choosing companies which will be able to receive such subsidy in 2021, and we are going to decide what companies will receive this support at the end of the year. Now let me tell you a few words about non-financial subsidy in the form of participation in fairs. We subsidize participation in fairs. We help build booths, for example, and such subsidies cover international fairs and conferences organized with the support of Ministry of Trade and Industry of Russia and Russian Export Center. Each year we support Hanover Industrial Fair. It's a really signature event. We also support other international events organized in United Arab Emirates in Abu Dhabi, for example. But this year, because of COVID-19 pandemics, the majority of events are being organized online, and we all suffer from the impact of pandemic. So we all can also provide non-financial subsidies in the form of support in receiving patents. We can compensate for expenditures related to registration of intellectual property abroad, for example. And at the end of my presentation, I wanted to draw your attention to such a thing as a permission for a recycling at in customs zone. We can help Russian companies receive such permission. We can help prepare a set of documents, then give the set of documents to the customs authorities of Russia and receive a corresponding permission. Then you will not have to pay the added value tax for the materials which will be used for the production of those products which will be exported. As for now, we are negotiating with the producers of pipes, for example, which is especially relevant for energy sector, because they have to buy materials like steel, for example, abroad, then bring this material to Russia, produce pipes, and then sell pipes abroad again. So we hope that such instrument will be highly demanded by Russian producers, which focus on exporting their products abroad. That was an overall look of the measures of support offered by the Russian Export Center. As I told you, measures of support are universal, and many of them are demanded by exporters of energy mechanic engineers. Here on the last slide, you can see my contact details, and if you have any questions, you can always feel free to contact me. There's my telephone number and my email. Ask your questions there, and I will be always happy to answer your questions or provide you more information regarding different measures of support. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vladimir, for your presentation. And I have a question to you. What are the opportunities of Russian companies in the energy mechanic engineering, in renewable sources, if projects are organized within the framework of joint ventures? Are there any commissions or roundtables where companies or joint companies, Russian or German companies, can come together, share ideas, share some technologies, and find possible joint projects? Well, first of all, I want to tell you that we support Russian producers of technologies for renewable energy sources. We offer measures of support for the companies which build for example, solar panels in Kazakhstan. Havel company produces such modules, and it also constructs and exports materials for solar energy plants. We can offer joint. We can always offer joint financial instruments if, for example, batteries are supplied from Russia. We can always provide guarantees for credits and loans. So we can finance local expenditures, so we can compensate for expenditures which are needed to build such plants and maintain them. We also try to contact producers of wind energy. Such companies from Russia working currently only locally and try to cover the demand of Russian consumers, but in the majority of cases they use foreign technologies, and there's a transfer of international technologies. But hopefully in the nearest future, when such plants produce more energy, we will be able to offer financial support to them. We will be able to offer financial support and provide loans for foreign buyers. If they are willing, for example, to supply equipment or to build windmills abroad. And there are projects which can be implemented. As for the roundtables, well, oh, we have a request to you. It's a request for the Russian-German Chamber of Commerce. We would like to participate in roundtable discussions where we can share experience, where we can speak about measures of support, or we can share successful stories, especially related to renewable sources of energy.
Okay, vielen Dank, Wladimir. Wir nehmen das gerne als Hinweis für weitere Veranstaltungen auf.
Thank you, and we will take your request into account, of course. A final question. You spoke a lot about the support of Russian companies. And what do you think is unique offer? What can be a unique offer of Russian producers? What are Russian companies different from? What are characteristic features? Well, we have to think about it in terms of different industries. Russia is one of the leaders in the sphere of nuclear mechanical engineering, for example. And the majority of energy projects implemented abroad are projects by Rosatom. So these are nuclear power projects. For such projects, we use mechanical engineering products because it's necessary for the construction of nuclear plants. Rosatom is trying to diversify its business currently. It's trying to find ways to use its technologies in different sectors and in different industries. By the way, wind energy is the kind of sector where Rosatom is actively working. Perhaps you have heard about Nova Wind. It's an affiliated company of Rosatom, and it can produce items or spare parts for windmills. Here in Russia, we have producers of turbine equipment. First of all, these are turbines for coal plants. In this regard, Russia is also active in the production of equipment for boilers. We can offer such products for final consumers, but at the same time, we understand that that Germany is moving towards renewable sources of energy. It's going to phase out coal, or it's going to phase out nuclear power. That's why we have to find new ways of application for equipment which used to be uh, used at coal plants, for example. We also produce equipment for hydro energy. We are highly competitive there. We know that such equipment is needed in Latin America because they have a lot of water resources and waterfalls. So it makes sense to develop hydro energy there.
Gut, herzlichen Dank, Wladimir.
All right. Thank you.
Vortrag und für die
Thank you very
Beantwortung der
much.
Fragen.
Thank you for your presentation, Vladimir, and thank you for answering the questions. Ladies and gentlemen, and that is the end of our online conference. To my mind, we covered various topics today related to energy in Russia and Germany.
Die Referenten stehen den Teilnehmern natürlich für weitere Fragen
We will be
jederzeit
happy to answer your questions if you have them.
Von daher bleibt für
Please
mich
feel
nur
free
noch
to contact
einzusagen,
our speakers.
herzlichen Dank an die Referenten
And from my
für
side,
ihre Beiträge.
all is left.
Teilnehmer
All that is left
würden
is
sich
to
sehr
thank
freuen,
participants
wenn
and speakers.
Sie bei uns im
Thank you all.
Unternehmerreferenzzentrum in Düsseldorf
I will
oder
be
in der
very
deutschen
happy if
Auslandshandelskammer in
you contact
Ludwigsburg in
our
Düsseldorf oder auch
Center
dann im
of Trade
Oktober
in
beim
Düsseldorf, or if you contact the offices of Russian German Chamber of Commerce in Moscow or St. Petersburg. I will be really happy to see you at the 10th International Gas Forum, which will be organized in October. All the best, success.